let's go to Oregon right now. Their win total, I believe, is 10.5 on FanDuel right now. Dante Moore is the starting quarterback for the Oregon Ducks this season. Dan Lanning coming off. Weirdly, it was a very good season, and then it just ended in the most sour way after losing their rematch in the Rose Bowl against Ohio State. 13-0 in the regular season. Dylan Gabriel gone. I'll start here. Extremely, extremely out on this Oregon team, and by far and away my most overrated team in this conference.
Not a Dante Moore guy, huh? Didn't like his one freshman season at UCLA 2 years ago? Didn't like that?
Not a Dante Moore kind of guy. I think, look, I wasn't the biggest Dylan Gabriel fan, but Dylan Gabriel did give you stability, he gave you experience, and he fit that offense very well. Look, Dante Moore, freshman year at UCLA, honestly, I would be fine if you say it was a wash. Didn't like what I saw. I feel like that's a pretty steep drop-off at that point. You return basically nobody on both sides of the ball at this point. I think it's going to be a tough year for them. The schedule lines up kind of okay for them. I mean, at Penn State, at Iowa is not ideal, but I'm out on Oregon. I don't think they're a national championship contender, and I would go under on their win total as well. I think this is kind of a retooling year for Oregon.
Go ahead.
What you got, Dan Lanning? That's what this is. What do you have in the tank in terms of coaching? Because you're right. A lot of your guys are gone. You have Dante Moore that comes in. You lose Dylan Gabriel. This offensive line situation is going to be interesting because that's why I loved Oregon so much last year. And the offensive line was pretty good, but now you're kind of retooling that. You have 3 guys that transfer in. For me, I agree with what you said, Carter. I'm not as high on Oregon as I was last year, and I was pretty high on them. I would lean under on the win total, and I think this year is going to say a lot about Dan Lanning more so than Oregon as a whole. It's going to be, can you get the guys together? I think really 10 wins, if you tell me Oregon has 10 wins, which is even under their win total, I'm going to say, okay, good year for Oregon.
100% agree. 100% agree, especially if he can resurrect a guy like Dante Moore. Look, 5-star grade and all this stuff, but we saw that freshman year at UCLA. It was not pretty, but hey, he also hasn't played real football in 2 years.
This is also interesting. You know how I am with the new conferences, having to go across the country. You're at Penn State, you're at Rutgers, you're at Iowa, at Northwestern. That's not and they're not back-to-back, obviously, but that's not easy to have to go across the country 4 times. A lot of these teams, especially on the East Coast, only have to go to the West Coast once. I know Michigan and Ohio State only have to do it once. That's very tough for Oregon.
How do you feel about Malik Murphy playing against Oregon in Week 4? Nervous?
I mean, some are saying biggest game of the year. Game day.
Some are. Malik Murphy.
Big noon. Fox Big Noon.
Yeah. First thing on Dante Moore, you guys don't give him any credit for taking a year off, backing up Dylan Gabriel, and kind of hitting the reset button. Maybe growing a little bit as a player, as a person, coming back more mature.
It depends if you're an Oregon fan or not an Oregon fan.
Well, look, if you're an Oregon fan, you're telling yourself the talent's there. Sat a year behind a great quarterback, and Dylan Gabriel is now in the Browns. Like, he learned. We'll see. He came to Oregon, knew he was going to be the backup. This is the year. I'm with you guys, though. I'm not too high on this Oregon team. I think they're returning like 43% of their production from last year. That's 104th in the NCAA. I don't usually read off those for every team, but that stood out to me from a great offense last year that was number 1 in the Big Ten in total offense, averaged 35 yards a game. Evan Stewart's already out with that knee injury, probably for the entire year, I would assume. Other than that, they only have one other offensive starter returning, and that's their center. Wide receiver group has some veterans, but it's kind of that deal where it's people that have been in college football for a while but haven't been stars. You know, it's like, oh, this guy's a 3-year player from Florida State or wherever. I don't know. Their best receiver is probably their true freshman, DeCorian Moore. And then you got running back Mekhi Hughes from Tulane, who was good, not great. Their backup, Noah Whittington's back. I think this offense will be fine, but not elite like it was last year. As far as the defense goes, they were Dan Lanning's 32-0 when allowing fewer than 34 points. I think the defense will actually be
whoa. Read that stat again. Read that stat again, because that is absurd.
Per sources, Dan Lanning is 32-0 when allowing fewer than 34 points. So
that
you don't talk about Dan Lanning as a coach, as an offensive guy. Yeah, there you go.
34 points.
Yeah, I know.
You dropped 21 in there. I'm like, okay, that makes sense, right? 28 points. Yeah, okay. You get to the 30s, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, I know. But Funny enough, I think the defense will actually be the strong point for them this year. Well, with Dante Moore at quarterback on the offense, I actually think the defense will be okay. D-line will be young. They lose a lot there. Overall, the first 4 weeks of the schedule do set up nicely, but people are already penciling them in for being 5-0 or 4-0 going into Penn State. They've got Montana State, Oklahoma State, Northwestern, Oregon State. Sneaky, I think they lose one of those games. So I think they lose one of those first 4 games where people are like, oh, they're going to be 4-0 going into Penn State. I don't know. I think they drop one of those first 4 games.
I want to get in on this when it inevitably happens. It's because I don't want Connor to have all the credit. Me, selfish Dylan, at Northwestern. I don't like that spot for them. That spot for them.
Can I get in on Oklahoma State for that one?
Go ahead. Connor, you want to call your shot?
Alan Bowman's gone. Give me Oklahoma State over Oregon week 2. Put in the tickler file for the parlay.
If I had to choose one of those 4, I'm gonna go with Oklahoma State as well. Nice. Cowboys.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's in Stillwater, right?
No, it's out.
Oh, it's in Oregon. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But anyways, overall, I think there's a chance for one of those early slip-up losses. I think this Oregon team's probably 9-3, but 10.5 win total. Give me the under 10.5 all day, every day, twice on Sunday. I don't think they're getting 11 wins. And if they do, then crown Dan Lanning tomorrow.
Yeah.
Lots of travel.
I think Dylan nailed it, too. 10 wins. That's such a successful season. Even if it doesn't look pretty, if you somehow get to 10 wins this year. Also, I think, especially if you have a good defense, too, to show, hey, we don't have to give up 34 points in a game.
Yeah.
And we can win that way. Go ahead.
I think Dan Lanning is going to get unfairly treated based on how this season goes. I think you put the 10.5 win total up there. You have the success you have last year. I think people will see a 10-win season and still be upset. I think that's something to keep an eye on.
Really?
At the end of the year, I think so. I think people are going to expect a lot from this Oregon team, and we've touched on it. We've talked about it to an extent. I don't think those expectations are fair. I think people are going to be upset at the end of the year, even if they win 10 games. I think anything short of a playoff appearance, people are going to be upset. I don't think that's fair. I want that on the record.
I don't think that's fair at all either.